and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Carson City School Board. Starting school board meetings full of students and parents is the best way to start these meetings. So thank you so much for being here. We'll begin with agenda item 1, which is the adoption of the agenda as submitted for possible action. Okay, so we have a motion by trustee Cassiopo and second by trustee Walt. I know you guys didn't use your mics, so I'm going with who I heard first, but it's okay. I gotcha. So do we have any further discussion on the agenda among the trustees? Do we have any public comment on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye, and the motion carries. And we'll move on to agenda item 2, which is the flag salute. Trustee Matt Clapham will lead us, please. Thank you. And we'll move on to agenda item 3, which is our superintendent's report for information only. Mr. Fueling.
Thank you, President Crossman. Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening. We're going to start with a word: domination. And so, if I could have Mr. Macy, Coach Macy, come on up and talk a little bit about everything that happened.
And I'll just let the parents know, if you are interested in taking pictures of your students from the front, you're welcome to come behind us and take some pictures.
One will go and then the rest will go. They'll follow. All right. Do we want to do boys first, girls first? Do we want to do them all at once? How do you guys? All right. So first of all, this is Coach Hager. He's my assistant coach. First year for him. All right. We'll start with the boys. Boys, come stand on up over here. Well, no, come this way. Face that way. Face all the cameras. There you go. There you go. There you go. They'll work it out. There we go. The boys had the great distinction of being the NIAA state academic champions with a combined GPA of 3.73 this year. And on top of that, we had 4 of the boys up here get all-state academic, which means they carried a 4.0, and that would be Sean Thornton and, make sure I get them all these right here, Alex and Mark and Sawyer were all 4.0 academic all-state as well. The boys placed 3rd at state, or excuse me, at regionals, making it to state for the first time in a few years. We also had 3 boys make the all-region team this year. Alex Miner is all-region 2nd team, and then Sean Thornton is all-region 1st team, and then Sawyer Macy is all-region 1st team as well. So that was fantastic. Sawyer was the NIAA Northern Region champion for Northern Nevada, and he was also named the NIAA Northern Nevada Runner of the Year. So, boys competed at state, and they got 6th place overall at state, and we're hoping to build upon that success next year. So, yeah, absolutely. So that's the boys cross country team. And ladies, stand on up. All right, got to make sure I get all this. First off, the girls, we did have a couple girls that had 4.0, so they were NIAA all-state academic as well. Those 3 that had the 4.0s were Ginny and Vea and, Ginny, Hannah, and Eleanor all had 4.0s. They were all-state academic. The girls were 1st at regional this year, and that's a great accomplishment. But also to call out the all-region team, just so you know, there's 14 runners get all-region. So top 7 are first team, second 7 are second team. So out of the 10 schools who compete in 5A, there's 14 spaces for all regions, and you're looking at right there 7 of the 14 spots right there. They're all regions. So. And then we went on to state and competed at state, and they're also the NIAA second time NIAA state champion team. So. And then finally, we just kind of knew this was going to happen. We got confirmation just today, about 3 hours ago. A lot of us are headed out on Friday to fly down to Mesa, Arizona. Nike puts on regional meets around the country. There's 6 of them, and whoever wins those meets go to national in Oregon in December. So we were already planning on going down there, but the girls team was selected for the championship race. So there's 26 teams out of Colorado, Utah, Nevada, New Mexico, and Arizona that were chosen. So they'll be competing against the #1 team in the country, Air Academy from Colorado, and the #3 in the country, and the #5 in the country. So it's going to be a fantastic race for them. So. And then finally, also, I should have mentioned with the boys, we just found out Sawyer also was selected for the championship race down in Arizona, so he'll be competing down there as well. The other boys are going to be competing in the varsity races as well, but Sawyer got put up into the championship race. So that's our cross-country team.
Do we have any questions from our board or comments? Go ahead, Trustee Casiopo.
Well, first of all, obviously, congratulations. I mean, think all around, that's impressive. Good for all of you. Ladies, I don't know what to say. That's amazing. Good for you. So I'm curious, Sawyer, how fast do you run? What's your best time so far in these? Oh, sorry, you probably have to grab a mic. I'm sorry.
So for a 5K, which is 3.12 miles, my best time is 15:36. Yeah, thanks.
Add to that one. So about 3 weeks ago, he smashed the school record by 21 seconds. So.
Yeah, I don't want to date myself, but it's been 10 years for sure that I was help coaching cross country with Pete Sennett and them, and you just clinched the fact that I can no longer keep up with you guys anymore. So, but congratulations. I mean, it's amazing. Way to represent Carson High.
Yes, congratulations to all of you. And I'm sure you're not going to toot your own horn, Mr. Macy, or Coach Macy, but congratulations on Coach of the Year.
Have any other comments? Okay. Go ahead. Come up. You just have to come up to the microphone and state your name for the record.
Dan Thornton, parent of Carson High runner, and the culture that has been created at Carson High around the running team is so fantastic, and they really do need to be appreciated. So thank you so much for your efforts with all these children. We really sincerely appreciate it.
So I just want to offer my congratulations too. I have watched most of you grow up, some of you from the time you were born, and watching you become the runners that you are. And I really enjoy yelling for runners. Started with my older boys when they were competing, and I didn't know that was what I liked to do, but I really enjoyed cheering you guys on at regionals and at state. And I will say one of my favorite athletic events ever was watching Coach / Dad Macy cheering Sawyer on that last half mile. Greatest thing. Ladies, so impressed with your work ethic. I got the opportunity to know many of you this summer, and I know a lot of you boys too. These kids put in the work and they put in the time, but they enjoy each other and they support each other. And so not only are they phenomenal athletes, they're phenomenal students, as indicated by their academic success, but they're also phenomenal people. They are very, as excellent as they are on the field, they are that everything you want your kids to be. These kids are kind, considerate, and supportive of one another, and I just am so very proud of you. So congratulations. Yes. So Mr. Fueling is letting me know that Mr. Davis would probably like a picture of the cross country teams here. So if you guys don't mind standing up and just squish in. Thank you for coming, you guys.
Okay, moving on. Couple items for board members, just making you aware the National Association of School Boards Conference will be coming up April 5th through the 8th. So if you're interested in that, please be sure to reach out to me. Tomorrow night, we have our community PLC meeting where we'll be talking a little bit about Goal 4 and the district nutrition program that is open to anyone in the community if they would like to come and participate, and they will have some food you can sample. So note that we will likely be setting our December board meeting trustees for a 6 o'clock start. There's a lot on that agenda, so just so you're aware. And I wanted to give a shout out to a teacher at Carson High School, Evelyn Grime, who teaches engineering, and she sent me this little snippet of a project that her kids are working on. These are high schoolers. So this project, I think they're submitting it to like NASA or something. I can't remember what it is, but their project is they're looking at how does the count of muons at different altitudes of the atmosphere compare to the amount of gamma ionizing radiation? How does it compare to the amount of beta radiation? And how capable are small handheld muon detectors and electric pocket Geiger sensors at measuring these values at altitude? And while I know the answer, no, it just struck me because I'm thinking this is a PhD program in particle physics at MIT or something like that. So I was just incredible that our high school kids are doing this kind of work. So that is all I have for the evening.
Thank you for your report. We'll move on to agenda item 4, which is board reports and board member comments for information only. And we'll begin with our high school representatives. Do we have a representative from Carson High School here today? Okay. Are you Alexandra? No. Paulina. Okay.
Hello, my name is Paulina Perez Roque. I am the other school board representative. To start off, leadership. just started the senior or did the senior citizens prop at the Children's Museum, and it was amazing, and it got a lot of amazing feedback. As well as Tuesday on November 7th, the e-board went on up to the Renown Hospital for kids to be able to give them donations and toys, and it was wonderful. As well as currently we are working on Winterfest, and we're being put into committees in order to execute everything well for next semester. Starting with clubs, the NHS hosted a blood drive today, and it went great and had a lot of great results. As well as HOSA, because during its National HOSA Week during November 6th and 9th, they collected items including first aid or toiletries in order to send to our newly formed HOSA chapter in Guatemala. And we're excited for that. As well as Speech and Debate has a tournament coming up this Friday and Saturday. For sports, we are now moving into winter sports, and we're excited to see what's next. And they're starting their practices off, as well as that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. For Pioneer Academy activities, Sadie Fullerton.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm Sadie Fullerton, representing Pioneer Academy Student Leadership, and here are the Pioneer Academy activities. On Nevada Day, Pioneer Leadership and National Honor Society held a fundraiser selling concessions and accepting donations for parking for the parade. We were able to raise a couple $100 and look forward to improving our event for next year. J4NG hosted its annual initiation and installation ceremony on October 26th with guest speakers Mayor Lori Bagwell and Assemblyman PK O'Neill. Thank you to Trustee Varner for attending to support our J4NG program as well. On Thursday, November 2nd, the Spanish Club hosted a very successful Dia de los Muertos family night. We had over 60 guests, including families, former students, and district staff. Special shout out to Superintendent Fueling for coming to support our event. Pioneer students handwrote and delivered thank you letters to 17 local veterans, thanking them for their service last week. This week, the leadership students will compile 36 Thanksgiving meal kits to deliver to families in need throughout the district. And thank you to Connie Hernandez and her family for donating the food to make this happen. Our positive referrals for being responsible, safe, and respectful have reached a total of 230 for this semester. And that concludes the activities and announcements for Pioneer Academy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that report. Okay, do we have an update, Trustee Varner, from the Nevada Association of School Boards?
I do. Everyone's aware of the upcoming conference in Las Vegas, so I'm sure everybody's signed up for that, and it should be a real good conference, so we're looking forward to that. And also on January 13th, the next professional development training workshop will be held in Reno. And there'll be a flyer coming out shortly that you guys will all receive. So they're requesting that you sign up as soon as possible because the space is going to be limited, and it's going to be held in Reno at the Loft Hotel. And really, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And Trustee Varner, do you have your board report?
I do. I have one for Fritz Elementary. Principal Brown would like to thank all the parents, families who joined them for their successful math carnival night, which was held last Tuesday night. Also, he wanted everybody to know that November is the month of gratitude, and he and his administrators are very thankful for all the staff they have there. He says they are the best. And I don't have a report for board work tonight.
Thank you so much. Trustee Walker?
Good evening. A few announcements from Eagle Valley Middle School. Last week, they held recognition rallies for students earning A's, B's, and with exemplary attendance, and those were well received. And Mr. Connolly's proud to announce that they had over 50% attendance rate at the parent-student teacher conferences, which Anyone who knows much about middle school knows that those are fantastic numbers. So great job at Eagle Valley.
Thank you, Trustee Walt.
Yes, so just to add on to Carson High School, thank you to all the volunteers that helped with the state soccer tournament that was held at Carson High School November 10th and 11th. It was successful, and we want to thank all of the volunteers that assisted with that. And then I would like to thank Principal Mr. Tuttle, who's in the audience, for his report today, so I'll be giving that, but thank you. So Empire Elementary School continues to work on their chronic absentee rate that is doing well and is around 11% year to date compared to 23.3% in 2022 and 2023 and 35% for the year 21-22. So 11% is actually doing very, very well. So congratulations to Empire Elementary School parents for getting your kids to school. However, the Empire Elementary School their goal is 0 students with a chronic absenteeism. And it is a tall order, but they're hopeful that they will be able to accomplish this by the end of the year. They have been emphasizing and marketing their families to allow children 5 things. Allow your allow your children to be at school every day. Allow your children to be on time to school every day. Allow them to read with you at night. Allow them to practice math facts with them every night. And please allow your children to talk with them about the SEL focus of the week. In general, they are asking families to allow their children to access all the school has to offer. The message is getting through, but some support from the greater community would be extremely helpful for Empire Elementary School. Also, tomorrow night, the 3rd grade students will be performing folk dancing led by Ms. Cassidy Robinson and Laura Ricks. Empire Educational Coach will be talking with families about math games that they can play with their children to support math fluency. There's a lot going on at Empire Elementary School, so congratulations, though, on your attendance.
Thank you for that report. Trustee Clapham.
No reports from me tonight.
Trustee Ramirez.
From Seliger Elementary School, Ms. Zona reminds us that November 15 it will be minimum day. Students will be released at 12:40 p.m. She also thanks the parents for getting the students to school on time, and she reminds us that being on time contributes to a successful school day for the child. I'm also looking forward to visiting with Miss Brina White's 3rd graders this coming Thursday. I was invited to go as a guest reader, and I'm looking forward to spending time with those kids. She started this effort to engage the parents and community members to come and be part of the school activities, and so I'm looking forward to be part of this effort. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Casiopo.
Thank you. I think Pioneer Academy was covered pretty well, so I'll just make a couple other quick announcements. Just my usual scholarships. Any students that are interested in attending college or trade schools or any of that, if you don't already at the high school level, take advantage of the scoop, which is the announcements for the various scholarship opportunities. There's always a tremendous amount. We have a very generous community, local community, and kind of far-reaching, if you will. And there's some just tremendous opportunities. And if anybody thinks, boy, I don't have time to sit down and apply for a scholarship, I think anybody who's done it will tell you it doesn't take that much time. And it can make the difference for some people of whether or not they're going to, study anything after high school. So if you think you're interested, check it out. There's no harm in looking into it. The other thing, December, I think it's 2nd and 3rd, Sierra Nevada Ballet is putting on their annual Peanut Cracker production. This year on the 2nd at 4 p.m., the Peanut Cracker, if anyone knows what the Nutcracker is, it's a reduced version for families and kids. And for those of you who are going, oh my gosh, a ballet, it's 45 minutes long. It's not 2 hours long. And it's pretty good. And what I like about it is there's a lot of students in our community, in our school district, that are in it. And so you're liable to see people in it that maybe didn't know they were in it. But on the 2nd, they're doing they translate it or they narrate it to let you know what it's about and what the storyline is. And again, one of the shows is going to be translated in Spanish. The other shows will be in English. And if you're looking to do something different, you might have a good time, and they're going to do reduced tickets if you just tell them that, you go to school here in the community. I think it's $5. I'm looking at you. I think it's $5 per person if you tell them that. So anyway, that's all I had.
Thank you for that report. Sorry, I don't know how much the tickets cost. Okay, $5. For Fremont Elementary School, Dr. Ward would like to let us know that they had a successful math night. And then she'd also like to let us know that the band and choir concert will be held on December 7th at 5:30. And so usually when we enter concert season coming up, we get an information list of all the different concerts that are taking place. So that would be, keep your eyes open for that, trustees. And also, I would like to thank Mrs. Cortez for the time that she has spent working on the Google form of our superintendent evaluation. And that, just a reminder to trustees, that will be sent to you tomorrow, and that needs to be completed by December 4th. There will be accompanying information. And just also to encourage you as you're going through it, if you have any questions, reach out to Mr. Fueling. Ask him for a little more information if you need it as you're going through that process of doing the evaluation. And then just I'd like to take, since we're coming up next week on our Thanksgiving break and it's Thanksgiving season, I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our staff, all of our teachers, all of our educators, everyone who works in our school district. I look at public education, and one of the things that I like so much about it is that we say we will educate all the children. It doesn't matter what race you are, doesn't matter what religion you are, doesn't matter if you speak the language that is predominantly spoken, doesn't matter if you have some difficulties in learning. It's a great and noble work that we are endeavoring in to educate all children. And I just appreciate the work that our staff does in doing that, because what they do not only improves the lives of the students in our community, it improves our community as a whole. And I just want them to know how much they are appreciated during this time, and how grateful we are for that. So we'll go ahead and close that agenda item and move on to agenda item 5, which is association reports for discussion only. Do we have any association reports? I'm not seeing any, so we'll move on to agenda item 6, which is public comment. And I'll go ahead and read this because we do have some public comment today. So comments will be accepted in person or through virtual participation via email no later than 12:30 p.m. the day of the meeting. Email for public comment must include the submitting party's full name. Email for public comment will be posted as a supplemental document, and copies will be provided to the board members. The names of those who have provided virtual public comment will be read during the public comment, and the emails will be included in the record, but the virtual public comment will not be read during the meeting. So just for your information, we did receive one email public comment, and all of the board from Kevin was the name, not the full name, but Kevin sent us a public comment, and all the board members have received that, and that public comment will be included in the record. Comments may be made here in person by members of the public on any matter within the authority of this board. Please note that public comment will be taken on items marked for possible action before action is taken on such items, and members of the public are encouraged to comment on such items at the time they are being considered. Although members of the board may respond to questions and discuss issues raised during public comment, no action may be taken on such a matter until the matter is placed on an agenda for action at a meeting of the board. In making public comment, speakers are asked to come to the table or podium, sign in, speak into the microphone, and identify themselves for the record. Commentators are instructed to limit their comments to no more than 3 minutes and to not simply repeat the comments made by others. Public comment is for discussion only, and we have one who has signed in, David Gutierrez de Jesus. Okay, come on up. Yes, and then just push the button and it'll turn green, and our clerk, Trustee Ramirez, will set the timer.
Okay. Hello, my name is David Gutierrez de Jesus. I am on here behalf of the band program at Carson High School. Today, I would like to talk about the problems our band program have been facing and also the support we feel like we are lacking. Just to get started, this past Saturday at Sierra Band Crusade, which is our biggest competition of the season, we were rehearsing on the football field, which our teacher assigned to us. And so we already filled out all the paperwork. And while we were rehearsing, we were met by the athletic director, and he just wasn't very happy with us. We filled out all the paperwork, so everything was already taken care of, but he met with us with like kind of aggression, which isn't very proper. Also, he was yelling at our band director. He was just not very nice, and we were all on the field, and we could hear how mad he was. Even though we talked to the soccer teams, we already cleared out what we were going to do and made sure that we were all not invading each other's space. He threatened to have the soccer teams play right through the band while we were rehearsing, and to remind you that this is our biggest competition of our season, like as seniors, like this is what we've been looking forward to the whole school year. And as respectfully, we all listened. We all got told we had to leave the field. We all went up into the band room, and as leadership of the program, we asked our underclassmen and our other classmen, how many people are upset? And when you see the whole program raise their hand because they were really upset that we got kicked off for our biggest competition, it really shows how much like it just hits home. The boosters, the students, and Mr. Jocks all work incredibly hard through the season, all leading up to this final competition. And to be kicked off of our as Carson High School students, our field for a soccer team that's like not our team, it was just really upsetting. While we always go out of our way to schedule to attend the athletic department's events, even though it takes time out of our days, it always feels like we get the short end of the stick. We're forced to leave the stadium even when we schedule time for it. Fine arts department isn't funded, which is a problem in itself. We get our places like the storage room taken away and causes inconvenience. It feels like even though we're a big part of the school's success, we aren't treated as such. Last year, the wind ensemble also planned to play in Senator Square at the school one day and did all the paperwork and got everything approved. And we did get kicked off.
Okay.
And so it's just in general, our program just doesn't get the right recognition, not recognition, but like the right support we
Okay.
deserve.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I do have to limit you to 3
Yeah.
minutes, but I appreciate you coming and sharing your concerns with us.
Right.
I have a question.
Go
Could he submit his written comments to the superintendent for follow-up?
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we have any other public comment at this time? Seeing no other public comment, I'm going to close public comment, and we'll move on to agenda item 7, which is presentation of the 2023 to 2024 Carson City School District Board-sponsored American Citizen Essay Contest winners for discussion only. Mr. Fueling.
Good evening again, trustees. Tonight, we celebrate again the American Citizen Contest Essay Award winners. This has been ongoing. I believe this is the 21st year the school district trustees have recognized this, all starting after the events of September 11th, 2001. And so I think it's amazing that this has continued on for so long and receives such incredible participation, and actually well beyond, I think, anything we've had before. So last year we had 199 total entries, and this year we had 318. So it's a pretty significant increase. So thank you to all the teachers in the community, be be they at Carson schools or any of our private schools. One of the other really great things about this is it really is a community event because it's open to all kids in the community that can submit. The topic this year, imagine you're making your community a better place. As a good citizen, what would you do and why? And it's judged upon 3 criteria: adherence to the topic, originality of thought, and using the traits of writing: ideas, organization, voice, word choice, sentence fluency, and conventions. There were 6 judges that went through all 318 essays, which is a lot. So special thanks to Lacey Carey, Rhonda Wallace, Maria Royce, Ananda Campbell, Anna Burberry, and Pam Copperthwaite. So altogether, we have $540 in awards to be presented this evening. We'll ask the first place winner to please read their essay if you have it with you. Otherwise, I have a copy up here, so you can't get off the hook if you forgot it. And so all of our award winners will get a certificate with the board's appreciation. Third place will receive $30, second place $50, and first place will receive $100. It's not too bad.
Mr. Fueling, before you begin, I would just like to ask the parents, because I'm sure Mr. Davis, he's done this in the past, will like to get a picture of all of the elementary winners and all of the middle school and all of the high school, and then a joint picture with everyone. So please don't leave until we're done with this. And again, same thing with the parents. If your student is up here and you'd like to take a picture, you're welcome to come behind to get a picture of them.
Okay, so we'll start first this evening with recognizing our elementary students. And we have in third place, Jacqueline Sullivan, 4th grader from Mark Twain Elementary School. Oh, hi. That's awesome. Here you go. Why don't you, they should stay up here for, yeah? Okay, yeah, why don't you stay here? Okay. Next, in second place, we have Gavin Santiago, 5th grader from Seeliger Elementary. And you get, hang on, there's more. Like that, all right? Yep, oops, there you go. And in first place, we have Eunice Nalapo, 5th grader from Seeliger Elementary School. Do you have your essay? You want to do that first? Okay. Hey, why don't you go take a photo and I'll have you come back and read it, okay, kiddo? Oh, here, let me give you. Okay, so why don't Jacqueline and Gavin, sorry. Why don't you two just stand over here for right now? And then Eunice, would you come over here so you can read your essay? Set it up for you.
I'll make Carson City the better place. Every good citizen adds to the strength of a nation. That was a quote. That quote was made by Gordon B. Hicklin. We could all try to be good citizens and will make this nation a better place for us and future generations. I'd like this city to become cleaner and a better environment. I'm going to be kind, pick up trash, and be generous. Even if I'm just a kid, I could still help make Carson City a better and cleaner environment. Now I'll show you how I'm going to be kind, pick up trash, and be generous. I'm going to try to make this place better for everyone by being generous. One way I'm going to be generous is by donating my change to homeless people or other people who need it. Help people carry their stuff if they have too much and can't carry it all. Another thing I could do is smile at someone because even a small thing could make a big and great difference. I'm going to help anyone if they are in need of help. An example would be if a disabled person needs help with picking up something, I could help them. That's how I'm going to be generous. I'll make Carson City better for everyone by picking up trash or recycling trash and composting your stuff too. Most of the time, you see people picking up trash and people getting a job to clean up trash like a garbage man or woman. Even if you don't have a job still, you could pick up trash if you see trash. Then put it in a garbage, then put it in the trash or recycling bin if you can. If you see plastic or paper, recycle it so we can reuse it so there's not a lot of trash. Also, one more thing is if you have a farm, you could get a composter because you could put all your trash except plastic and paper in the composter. The decomposers can turn it into fertilizer for your plants. One last final thing you can do is being kind. A way you could be kind is if you see someone sitting alone or walking and you're going the same way, you are going the same way you are, you could say hi to them and talk with them because I bet it would make their day a little better. You could also hold the door for someone if you're going to walk into or out of a building so you just don't slam it in your face. And if you're walking past someone or saying goodbye once you're leaving, saying having a great day or wonderful day, if you say that it will probably make them have a great or wonderful day. Okay. I believe that if we are all good citizens, we can make the city the cleanest and best in the state. Those are my ways of making Carson City a better and bigger place. I could go on and on about how to help make Carson City a better place. I feel like these are my top 3 things I would do in Carson City to make it a better place. If I could, I would tell everybody these 3 things so we can make this city a better place.
Thank you very much. And you did just get the opportunity to tell everyone to do those 3 things. So if everyone in this room does that, that's a great head start.
Okay. Moving on to middle school. And we have tonight in 3rd place, Reese Wade, 6th grader from St. Teresa's. In second place, an amazing soccer player with the biggest left foot of any seventh grade girl I know. I've known her for like 5 years. It's real. Annie Munson from Bethlehem Lutheran. And in first place, Caden Kabur, seventh grader from St. Teresa's. Go right over there. He's gonna grab a picture of you. All the middle schoolers, why don't you come over here?
As American citizens, we must remember to care for our communities. Whether it is a school community or America as a whole, citizens need to take an active part in helping the community. This can be as small as picking up a soda can on the street, or as large as hosting food drives to help the homeless. Helping the community is very important for many reasons. To me, caring for a community is making the people living in the society live happy and healthy lives. This can be done by providing service, money, or kindness towards other members of the community. Making a community a more joyful place to live in can sometimes be challenging, but it will benefit so many people. A community won't be as happy of a place if the environment isn't clean and pleasing to be in. I can try to encourage people to use cleaner energy in factories. Doing this can make the air quality much better for the community and other communities nearby. Instead of burning fossil fuels, I can try to make more places rely on a more environmentally friendly source of energy. Making the environment cleaner and looking nicer can subconsciously improve our everyday lives. Making people in a community happy can also be done by helping those who are less fortunate. One thing I can do is to donate money. I can donate to a homeless shelter or provide a warm place for the homeless to sleep and stay warm. This can save lives in the winter when the temperature could be dangerous for those sleeping in the streets. I can also donate to a food drive to feed the homeless. This can even be as small as a loaf of bread or some rice. Offering small acts of kindness can make someone's day. Volunteering to do a simple task without pay is a very kind thing to do. I could mow a neighbor's lawn, which not only makes the yard look cleaner, but will make more people want to show kindness. Volunteering to walk the dog will give the owner more time to themselves, which can make them delighted. If I see someone walking down the street, I can give them a smile or a small compliment. These little acts of kindness can add up to make a community a happier place. Keeping people in a community healthy is very important. It can extend the lives of many citizens, and it will enable them to do many things, such as gardening, constructing, or walking a dog. Staying active is one way to do this. For example, I could host a community jog. In this event, people can run at their own pace, and the group will stay together. If they participate, residents can get outside, exercise, and communicate with others all at the same time. Another example of a community exercise is to open a gym. This helps people stay fit in a place that they don't even need to travel far to access. Eating healthy is also very important for physical health. To encourage people in a community to eat healthier, I can provide an incentive. A community garden is a great way to encourage citizens to have healthier diets. People in a community can meet every once in a while, grow plants, and meet new people. They can take the freshly grown vegetables home to eat without spending any money and be healthy by doing it. I can also encourage healthy eating by trying to get grocery stores to slightly drop the prices of fruits and vegetables. This will make citizens want to buy more nutritious food. Getting together with others is very important for mental health. With current technology, it is very easy to communicate with friends and family remotely, but sometimes it is better to meet with someone physically. One way to do this is by organizing a family get-together for a holiday. Spending time with family is very important in the lives of many citizens. I could also help organize a community gathering, such as a Christmas program or a community park. This can help community members meet new people and talk to friends. There are many other ways I can make the community a better place. It will make a massive difference by doing so. By taking these small steps, we can eventually improve communities and the inhabitants that can fulfill their lives. Anyone can participate in community betterment through kindness and willingness. This is how to make our community an amazing place.
Okay, and on to the high school level. And in third place, we have Lucas Valdez from Carson High. In second place, we have Madison Vaquero, ninth grader at Carson High. And first place at the high school level, Bryn Russell, 12th grader from Carson High School.
If any of the parents of these students are still out in the hall, I would encourage you to be able to come in. There's room.
Okay, so why don't, are we, and then Bryn, we'll have you, I have your essay here. I can have you read that.
America, the land of the free and the land of the brave. This is a cliche that has been ingrained into each American since the moment of our founding. However, should there be other aspects that Americans are known for? What makes America such a desirable place for so many? Most communities focus on the benefits of equality and freedom of speech. These qualities are intriguing to many, especially those coming from places where things are not given for free. But the elements that make up our Constitution and independence are not all that a society can function upon. Character, a willingness to give your time for the betterment of others. Integrity, doing the right thing when no one is there to pay you respect for your good deeds. Assisting the next generation by allowing them access to the events and mistakes of the past so they can make a better future for us all. Each community is made up of different ethnicities, backgrounds, and cultures. Our differences are what make us more connected, and each individual in a society can bring a different temperament, idea, or skill to the table that can increase the spirits of the town or city. For that reason, there is no right way to create a perfect community, and what each individual brings forth is important for making a society that reflects who the people are and what they want to embody. For me, a high school senior, life is about school, swimming, and work. A constant stressor is the fact that in just a few short months, life will change for me, and it is possible that I will end up in an entirely different community filled with people who do not know or understand me. When you realize that your life might be changing drastically, reflecting upon your life so far and remembering the community that you might soon be leaving is forefront in your mind. As I look back on the things that I recall with the fondest of memories are the times that I've helped others. From organizing blood drives and food banks with National Honor Society, to teaching young children critical water skills, offering my time to assist in the betterment of the community never fails to show me how much good a person can supply if only they are willing. In my novice opinion, the best parts of community are the people that strive to lend a helping hand to anyone in need. It might be stopping to let a senior citizen cross the street, or picking a job that, while it might not pay much in the monetary aspect, brings joy and a safer life to others and therefore yourself. On the other hand, a kind thing such as giving blood or signing up to be an organ donor could be momentous in the betterment of society. Also, to better the environment of a community, working to save and protect the things that matter to you, such as planting more trees, could be someone's contribution to their hometown. There are thousands of possibilities when it comes to what a good citizen can do to make their home, their world, a better place. To be an outstanding citizen in my community, my dream is to help in all the ways that I have the ability and knowledge to do. Every project starts with dedication and drive, in this case from the entire community. So, to begin doing my small part, I will organize more community service and community-wide events for the National Honor Society to ensure more community-based outreach and involvement. It is my belief that people who have the opportunity to do honest and kind things for this society will do so. They only have to be given the chance. Creating more volunteer and donation-based activities will give these people this chance. In addition, I will work outside the normal duties of a citizen, and I will strive to help those around me. Whether it is opening a door for someone, helping a fellow student with homework, listening to the advice of others, and looking at things from an alternate perspective, I can be a positive influence in my community. Just by performing everyday acts of kindness and selflessness, anyone can improve an individual's life and motivate them to do positive deeds in the community as a result. Furthermore, I can use my unique knowledge in swimming to help the youth in my community learn how to be safe in the water and perhaps find a sport that they can enjoy for their entire life. The youth of today are often occupied with video games, television, and other similar technological devices. Learning how to enjoy sport, especially one that a person can do no matter what their fitness level, age, or income, is momentous. It can create a community that has more physical activity and can connect over a common interest. A town or city that can bridge the gap between age, race, and income is a community that is happier and better overall. Swimming, doing good-natured deeds, and making more volunteer opportunities available to everyone can make this possible. For a community to improve, it needs a desire and a passion to upgrade society. There needs to be a dedicated group of individuals that are willing to work together to make the community more equal, connected, and kind. Our community in Carson City and the surrounding area can be a home and a place for everyone, but it will take effort from us all. It will take everyone doing the little things that some believe are beneath them, be it picking up trash or following the rules. Additionally, everyone will need to take part in doing substantial things such as donating their life-saving fluids, blood, and plasma, or organizing a food drive for our less fortunate neighbors. Our home, situated between the Sierra Nevada mountains, is a place of diversity. Changing a community demands effort from everyone, no matter their culture, race, and religion. It requires people to come together and make a community that helps mankind, because all of us are Nevadans and all of us deserve to live in a community that is selfless and dedicated to improving the future.
We'd like to get a picture of everyone. So if all our winners could go line up in front there. Thank you, kids and families. Great job.
Yeah. And thank you so much, parents, for bringing your kids and supporting them. And thank you to those who read, because I know that's hard to do in public, and you all did a fantastic job. So thank you so much. We'll go ahead and move on now to agenda item 8, which is discussion and possible action to approve proposed changes to CCSD policy 514, promotion and retention, second reading. For possible action, Tasha Fuson.
Thank you, President Crossman. The last time I brought this policy to the board, there was a request to put a statement in here about potentially the rarity of retention. When I started to reflect on that, though, I was a little concerned about making a statement about the rarity, because really when it comes down to it, there are state requirements that a student has to meet to promote. So although it's rare in our district, I think it would give a false impression to say that this is a rare occurrence. There's, again, state law has a requirement. However, I did add that retention is a serious action, and schools will work closely with families to take the necessary steps to assist the student in meeting state requirements for promotion to high school. I was hoping that would capture the essence of what the board was looking for, and just making sure that it's, I think the intent from that feedback was to make it known that we were going to do everything that we could do to help that student be successful. So I'm hoping that the board is okay with that statement versus a statement on rarity. But that was the only requested change. So that's what I put in there.
I think it's fine, and I mean, what Tasha said is factual. I mean, and, at any time, the legislature could strengthen the read by grade 3 laws, and that's gonna tie our hands. So I think this statement captures that we're devoted to the success of students, and we're gonna do everything we can to help them get to that place. So I think that it was appropriate for me. When I read through it, I thought, yeah, that works.
I'm going to make a motion unless anybody has anything else to add. I move that the Carson City School District Board of Trustees approve November 14, 2023 as a revised date for policy 514, promotion and retention.
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee Cassiopos, second by trustee Varner. Do we have any further discussion among the board? Do we have any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye, and the motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to agenda item 9, which is informational update on the preliminary 2023 cohort graduation rates for the Carson City School District. For discussion only, Dr. Ricky Medina and Tasha Fuson.
Good evening, Ricky Medina for the record, and thank you for having me. Yeah, the folks from item 7 were going to stick around for graduation rates, but it got too late. Just wanted to point that out. Yeah, so we're talking about the class of 2023 tonight. So this is the class that graduated just this last year in May. The formula for graduation rates is used nationwide. It's been in effect since around 2009, 2010. There are some slight differences, so I want to kind of point that out. The top number are what the feds call the number of students in the cohort that receive what's called a regular high school diploma. And this is where there is some differences between states. Different states have different graduation requirements, and different states have different diploma types. So in Nevada, we have, for instance, the College and Career Readiness Diploma, we have an Advanced Diploma, we have the Standard Diploma. We also have an Adult Diploma. And the Adult Diploma in NRS, that's considered a regular diploma. But for the feds, after last year, after we submitted our graduation rates, the feds did an audit of the state and said that they didn't like the adult diploma being considered a regular diploma. So we'll see later on in the numbers, adult diplomas this year and last year are treated a little bit differently. The bottom number are the number of students that became a ninth grader at any time during 2019, 2020. It didn't matter if their first day was the first day of school or the last day of school. That's how you become part of the cohort.
Or March 12th.
Yes.
That's
Yeah, and so in students, they can transfer into the cohort. So if we get a student that comes from, say, Douglas County at any time during those 4 years, they transfer in. Students that leave to what's called a diploma granting institution, which would be another high school, those would be students that are transferred out of the cohort, or students that unfortunately that pass away during the 4 years. So I guess before I move on to the next slide, I want to talk about the way that the adult diplomas are being treated differently. So prior to last year, adult diplomas were treated just like regular diplomas. So if a kid earned an adult diploma, they were considered a graduate. These past 2 years, they changed it so it affects schools and the district number slightly differently. The school number, if a kid gets an adult diploma, say at Carson High or Pioneer High, they're considered a transfer out for the cohort. So the school doesn't get credit for those kids earning an adult diploma. It also doesn't hurt them. For the district, the big change was when we used to calculate the district number, it was just Carson High kiddos and Pioneer High kiddos. That switched last year. The adult high school is considered part of the district number. So this is what the trend looks like for the last 8 years. This data, the state won't release it until, by NRS, they have until the 15th of this month to make the numbers public. So sometime this week they're supposed to happen. They haven't made them public yet. So that's why we don't have numbers for Nevada, Clark County, or Washoe County. So overall, as a district, since 2021, we've dropped a few percentage points. And that's due mainly to those adult diplomas no longer counting as students that graduated. These are what the numbers look like for Carson High and Pioneer. So Carson High went down about 3 percentage points. Pioneer went down about 9. With Pioneer, you have to keep in mind that one student, they have a very small cohort, so one student counts for a lot of percentage points. These are overall what the numbers look like. So as a district, we had 460 students that graduated. We had 111 students that were considered non-graduates. Of those 111, 56 of those non-graduates earned adult diplomas. The diploma types that were granted last year, this slide is almost identical to the slide from the year before. So we had 110 students earn college and career ready diplomas. We had 63 that earned advanced diplomas, 287 that earned standard diplomas, 56 that earned adult, for a total of 516 for the district. And I know Mr. Cassiobo is going to ask about the kind of how does this compare to the rest of the nation? When you look at the best data that we have for the nation is the 2019-2020 school year. At that time, the adjusted cohort graduation rate, the average was 87%. And data wasn't reported for Illinois or Texas. And then overall, the scores range from the 80s up to the like very low 90s. In some of the states that are up in the 90s, they're not states that we usually aspire to when we think of education. So I would wonder if there were some differences in some graduation requirements there. Questions, comments?
So there's a big push, State Board of Education, we've talked about it many times over the past several years, to really transition and encourage for the career and college readiness diploma to be the standard. And so a transition like that for Carson City, what would that look like to get a majority of those kids in the standard column over into the CCR? Is it additional foreign language? I'm just wondering logistically, what would that look like for a district our size?
You're correct. And I guess maybe the conversation goes back to what are the actual differences between these different types of diploma options. So between the college and career ready diploma, there is a GPA requirement, and then there are certain ways that you can earn that college and or career ready endorsement. So for the college ready endorsement, those are students who and I don't have it sitting in front of me, so if I make an error on this, I do apologize. But it's, a student who has to have completed, has to be a CTE completer, meaning they have to have had the 3.0 in the sequence of courses and then pass the end of course exam and the workplace readiness assessments. You can have that. You can also have a student who's taken an advanced placement or a dual credit class at the college. Then for the career ready piece, and there's also the world languages piece that you've mentioned. So you can also take 2 years of a world language. So world languages are not required in the state of Nevada for a standard high school diploma because they're not required by the NSHE, Nevada State Secondary Education, right? System to get into Western Nevada or to get into UNR, UNLV. As a state, we don't require world languages, where other states do. So like if you want to get into an Oregon State school, typically I think they require 2, it might be 3. Most UC California schools, I think, require 3. So we always counsel our students, right, to know what college you're going to go to because different systems, different states have different requirements. So it would be a matter of making sure that we align our students at the beginning as they're entering into freshman year with that knowledge, because that does hold some of our students back, right? If you're not a dual credit or an AP level kiddo and you don't then take those world languages, that's keeping you from that college, that CCR diploma in some instances. There's also the career readiness endorsement piece, and that has to do with like taking industry credentials. One of the ones, for instance, like our students in our CTE programs will take the OSHA 10, I think is the name of that assessment, and if they get that certificate, then they get that credential. So it's just that these are all the options that we've had in front of us. As Dr. Medina said, we've seen as a district an increase in adult diplomas. The difference between an adult diploma and a standard diploma is there's a reduction in the credits are required. So an adult diploma takes 20 and a half credits to get. So they remove PE as a requirement, and I think instead of having that flex credit, that 3rd science and or 4th math, that's removed from that adult ed. So there's different levels, right? So there's different if you earn this many credits and you have this GPA, this is where you fall. So narrowing that is not necessarily a bad thing, in my opinion. I will tell you, as a district, from our look at what is causing the decrease for us in the graduation rates, it's our kids reaching, as you can see from that adult, having that increases the kids attaining the credits. So it was particularly challenging, as you all know. These students, last year's graduating class were the freshmen of the first year of COVID, where we were out that fourth quarter. We didn't have summer school. We went from having that year because of the pandemic. The previous year, we had usually on average of a little, anywhere between 90 to 100 students in summer school. So then you skip that next year where we don't have traditional summer school. And then you come back to I guess that would be the summer of 2021, and we catapult to 300 students at the high school. 3 times the amount of students at the high school having to take credit recovery. And that has not waned since that year. Every summer we've had that number. So we're really struggling as a district, and our principals know this, with credit attainment, especially at that freshman year. You also see that represented in the NSPF ratings for our high schools, is the percentage of students at the 9th grade level earning 5 or more credits at the end of that school year. So we know where that's stemming from. So we have work to do around that to help our teachers really focus in on making sure that we're supporting 9th graders and helping them attain their credits or earn their credits. That's a driving force behind us bringing in MTSS, multi-tiered systems of support framework, to say, how are we systemically supporting learners? But we've seen that hand over hand over hand, each summer. And so that's just really a big challenge, because as Dr. Medina said, those adult diplomas used to count for our schools. As long as that student was in their 4th year and they transitioned to adult after they turned 18 years of age, all these different rules, and you know that, those of you who've been on the board for a while know it changes every year. It seems like the rules change every year. However, it's a good thing for the students, because they're getting a high school diploma and they are eligible to go to college, and that's a good thing. But what it does is then, in that formula, it removes the students from the cohort. So it technically doesn't count against you, but they're not, it's almost as if they don't exist. I guess this is the best way to put it, right? So they're being removed from the cohort. So again, where we're looking at the fact that we have, as Dr. Medina put up there, 56 students who earned an adult diploma, which allows them to go on to the military and or to college in our state. Well, because of the report from the feds, or the pushback from the feds, they are no longer acknowledged, not for the positive nor the negative. They're just removed. So that's had a negative impact too.
Yeah, and the other thing that I would add to that, Mike, is that when the College and Career Ready diploma came out, it was just prior to the pandemic. So I think because of when it came out, it kind of lost that push for the College and Career Ready diploma, lost a little bit of its steam. But I think that as we get back to people really looking at the Nevada School Performance Framework, for last time when I was here, for elementary and middle, it's really based off of standardized tests. When you look at the high school NSPF, all of the measures really lead towards this College and Career Ready diploma. It's making sure kids are taking dual credit classes, making sure kids are on that CTE track, and making sure that they're taking the right classes, taking the algebra 2, so that way they can be proficient on the ACT. So I think as we get more comfortable with the high school and SPF, and we start to align our school improvement plan and our improvement focus on that, a natural thing will happen with these College and Career Ready diplomas.
And I guess that's my concern, is when a natural thing happens, that gives us time to adjust. And if there's some regulation or policy put in place by the state that kind of rushes that process, it could work against some of our kids, which is a concern I have. And then just a thought, as you're talking about the kids needing credit recovery, it shouldn't surprise us, because every single grade level has high numbers of kids needing, remediation at this point. It's not just the high school. It's really something that's nationwide at this point.
Well, and although we like to celebrate, I just want to say how we handled COVID, being able to shift to online education for our students so quickly because we had one-to-one devices, et cetera. In some way, it actually was a detriment to our students because, especially when you look at the statewide level and you're looking at Washoe and Clark, while we continued to do new learning for our students online and our teachers shifted to Google Classroom, et cetera, there was one very, 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 very large district to the south of us who did not allow any new learning to go on. As a matter of fact, for an entire 9 weeks, schools were given directions that students were only to be allowed to make up any and all missing makeup work for the entire year that they had when they were out, and increase grades. Grades could not go down. We didn't do that in our district. And again, we were very proud of it because we wanted our students to have the full breadth of that grade level curriculum that they were supposed to be exposed to. But we do know we had extremely high failure rates too because kids were not engaging in education. And so I think we are still feeling the pain of that. And I don't know what the right answer was, to be honest with you. Like in hindsight, you can look back and go, I don't know, maybe that was a better approach overall if you're having kids fill in the holes up to that point in time. But it just seems like, again, it's taking us a while to rebound from that. I think, as Dr. Medina said, I think we're back on the right track when you take a look at how we're trending right now, where the students are at. Enrollment is rebounding in honors classes, et cetera, because students also in that hybrid year chose not to take AP courses, or they would only take one, where this typical student would take 3, because of the type of way we, being on a hybrid schedule where you're at home half days and then in seat half days is very difficult, intimidating to students when they're taking those high level courses. So we saw a major dip in AP, and that has a direct impact on that college and career ready diploma too, because students who would normally take those courses were not. So, I mean, I think we're seeing that whole thing converge, but right now it's just a matter of understanding where we're at, trying to come up with positive ways to shift that, move in a different direction, I guess, and help the kids trend back up.
Thank you for the presentation. So looking at the numbers, I just want to point out, I think the total on Pioneer High School should be 44 and not 30. But moving on to that, though, we're missing like 20. We're missing their 20 students with the adult, because the 29 plus 7.
Those would be, an adult can actually earn an adult diploma as well. So that can be a 5th-year student, for instance, so they're not in that cohort group of, this is one of those wonderfully phenomenal, crazy things that we talk about when we talk about grad rates. So for instance, some of these students who are non-grad, I'm gonna give you an example, right, who did not, I think that's on the next one, Dr. Medina. So our non-graduates, or the previous one, so those 111, out of those students, many of them would actually are at the high schools right now as 5th-year seniors. Those are a lot of our English language learners or students on IEPs who require the 5th year. So they're considered non-grads in this cohort because you don't get to change their cohort, but they're actually still in school and receiving services. So then the following year, when you're looking at, okay, this year we've now awarded this many adult diplomas, for instance, many of those EL students will actually end up with adult diplomas because of the reduced credit requirement, but then they're not in that original cohort number. So your numbers don't match. That could be your 20 kids that you're looking at. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So does none of adult education count within these numbers?
Yes and no. So for the schools, they count as transfer.
Your mic.
Yeah, at the school level, adult ed kids count as transfer outs. So they don't go into the top number, they don't go into the bottom number. It would be like the state treats them like they transfer to Washoe County or some other school. For the district, the adult ed numbers get rolled into the district numbers. So that they don't count as graduates, but the adult ed kids that are non-graduates start counting against us.
So they don't get counted into Carson High or Pioneer High School?
Correct.
Okay. So if they count against us, Is NNCC youth program going to count against us? The youth program at NNCC?
The correctional center.
The youth program that they have, will that count against us?
So just to clarify, so at Northern Nevada now, they have what they call their youthful offenders. So they have under 17 and under that are there. And I don't know the answer to that question though.
No, so adult ed is kind of two different schools. There's the adult ed that's like next to the Pioneer campus that serves like adult students in the community. The prison ed has a different school number.
The high schoolers that are in the prison ed program have been deemed by the court system to be adults. And so they're in the prison ed program, not in the adult program. They're two separate sets of data.
And you know, I have a thought as we're talking about this because this is the compliance piece. This is the report that goes out, it's in the papers, it's published. We want high numbers, obviously. But I don't want to sell short the adults who still finish and get a diploma for whatever reason. They didn't give up. They didn't drop out. They continued to plug away. And so those 29 people, they kept working. That's a celebration. And so, I mean, even though they don't count, right, they should. And we need to celebrate that because that's a victory. You know, you don't graduate high school. I could imagine it's easy to just give up and not go back and do that again. And to pick yourself back up and finish that class or two and still complete your diploma, I think that's commendable. And so however they want to classify it, I'm so proud of those people.
Thank you, Trustee Walker.
And for the state, it's considered a regular diploma. So it's the same.
Okay.
If you apply for a job, it's the same as the standard or the advanced or.
Who decides, though, if it counts for or against? Is it just the Department of Education or is it NRS?
No, so it's the feds, and the state was counting it as one of our regular diplomas. But when they got audited by the feds don't want any adult, like they see adult ed as a totally separate program than K-12, whereas us, they're combined.
So the most important thing from our perspective, right, is that we're taking a look at all of the seniors or all the students that are with us through that whole cohort. Are we being able to track them if they have left our district and enrolled elsewhere? Because if they leave our district and don't enroll elsewhere, then they're considered a dropout, right? So we're tracking at each of our secondary schools, at each of our high schools. Here are all the students. And the goal is to make sure we have a plan for every one of them. So either you were adult graduate and you get the adult diploma because you were 18 years of age and you were eligible for that. And then your next step is to go to WNC, many of them do, go into the world of work right away, okay. Or you're a student who requires a 5th year. That's okay too. We have a high English language learner population that students will come in, you know, when they're 16, 17 years of age and new to country, right? So they take more time. They need more time to learn a language. That's fine. So we have you on a plan so that we can make sure that you graduate at the end of your 5th year. And if not, we continue in adult ed. We have some students that take 6, 7 years because they've come in at 16 years of age and they didn't have any of the language. But our plan is always to make sure that we are making sure that we're getting you to that diploma. Whether it takes 4 years, whether it takes 6 years, it doesn't matter. That's our goal, is to always be able to say, here's every one of these students. Here's all the students these numbers represent, and here's where they're at, right? Where we will accept it is if we feel that we've failed, is if we allowed the student to drop out and there's no plan for them, right? But we don't allow students to just drop out and not have a plan. We do have some students who've chosen to go the high set direction so that they can go and get their GED and move on. WNC has a very good program for students who are working through that process. But again, that's non-traditional. It's not the way we would prefer them to go. But as long as we're getting them to complete even that certificate, that's what we're always trying to help our students be able to have those employability skills that they need so they can be successful. So that's really more than the numbers. But again, that being said, when you look comparatively speaking, we're still not where we need to be. And we can still have higher expectations for our students. And we still need to rebound and get back down to working with our teachers on strong tier 1 instruction to say it's not okay to let kids fail at the high levels of rates that they've been failing. We've got to do our job better, and we know that. So that's where we're coming back to our teachers to say, how do we do it better? How do we meet our students? How do we not let them fail? How do we intervene first before they get there? We've got great safety net systems in our district. We have phenomenal safety net systems with having all these different diploma options, with having a huge summer school program, with having all of, the ability for our students to take 7 classes and actually have 28 credits at Carson High School alone, right? They need to have 24. Again, remember, we do have higher grad rate requirements. We require 24, where the normal standard is 22 and a half, but I mean, we do all those things, but we shouldn't be having to be so reactive. We need to get it done the first time. So that's where we have to focus right now, because again, our data shows our first time pass rates are very low.
And I appreciate that, and thank you for that information. But I think to Mike's point and to your point, we're doing some good things here, and we should be proud of it. And again, these people that are taking longer than the traditional 4-year track, but still getting their diploma, kudos to them, because those are the folks that probably have the hardest time getting a diploma, and they're doing it. And so I think there's always room for improvement. There's always things we can be doing better. There's always things certain families can be doing better. It's a group effort. And I think we're on the right track, and we just got to keep staying the course and tweaking the things we need to tweak, to make those adjustments we need to make. But I think these are still numbers we can be proud of, and we just keep building from.
Our graduation rate's still in the 80s. I mean, and we certainly want to hire, every single one of us would love to see 100%. But we still, we have high expectations in this district. We want to maintain those. And so, we're thinking about how we make it further. But kudos to the high school, both those high schools, to the middle schools for preparing those kids, the elementary schools, because we're getting the kids where they need to be. And so we have some work to do, but we also have a lot of successes. And right now in education, you don't hear a lot about the successes. And so I think we need to reframe some of these conversations and, and really applaud those high percentages.
Yeah. And the thing I forgot to mention was when you look at grad rates today, they're a lot higher than what they were in the past. Like when we started the adjusted cohort grad rate in 2009, 2010, the US average was around 79%. So it's gone up like a percentage point each year. And if you looked before we went to this, the same common rate, it was a whole lot lower than that.
And just a comment I would like to make too on this particular cohort of kids started high school and did not have a normal high school experience there. And so this is a group that persevered through quite a bit of change. And so I'm proud of those kids. Thank you. Do we have any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to thank Dr. Medina for thinking about me.
Okay, we will move on to agenda item 10, which is approval of the consent agenda for possible action. Okay, motion by trustee Walker, second by trustee Cassiopo. Do we have any discussion on the consent agenda? Any public comment on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye, the motion is approved. We'll move on to informational items for discussion only. No action will be taken. Just a reminder about our professional learning tomorrow night. And also the early release tomorrow and our community PLC. Do we have any other questions on the informational items? Okay, we'll go on to agenda item 12, which is requests for future agenda topics. Do we have any of those? No, we do not. So before we adjourn, I just would like to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving too. So have a great one. Thank you guys, and we are adjourned.